Hello, everyone. Welcome to my review of American Horror Story, Season 5, Episode 9, She Wants Revenge. So, a spoiler alert to those of you out there who have not watched the episode. Please do not watch this review because I don't want to spoil the show for you. All right, this episode was written by Brad Falchuk. And I do apologize, the director's name skipped by so quickly, I only caught the first name was Michael. So please see the description for the name of the director of this episode. And it was a great episode, too. It wasn't action-packed, as some of them have been. It's been more of a catch-up episode on some backstories on a couple of characters. It was very interesting, and it filled in a lot of the gaps that were missing to understand the Countess and the situation that's going on with her in the hotel. So we start the episode with the Countess is basically preparing for her wedding. She has this great inner monologue about how she feels like everyone is basically turned against her, Liz and, her past lovers and that sort of thing. I guess she does not understand that killing Tristan and screwing up Liz's chance for true love was wrong. Anyway, she has hired a detective to find Rudolph Valentino, her love, and he does. So she goes to see him, and it cuts automatically to her making it with Donovan, which was a huge surprise. Where did Donovan come from all of a sudden? Things had been kind of quiet on him and the Ramona front lately, so kind of made me wonder, why is he there? But one good thing about the storyline, we'll go back to the Countess in just a second. Finally, we get a little bit more information about what has happened to all the children that have been turned into little vampires. Alex sees a news broadcast while she's giving the Countess her blood drink, and she sees that yet another homeless person has been murdered and drained of their blood, and that the city is fearing, I guess, a serial killer. So she uses that information and she tracks the kids, she watches the house, sees a pizza delivery guy go inside, and he does not emerge in a few minutes. So Alex goes inside the house and sees all the dead bodies inside. It's pretty creepy, but the kids are there, and they have been eating people to survive since the last time we saw them at the school, which I'm not sure of the time frame. It could be a couple of days, it could be a couple of weeks, but it has been at least since episode 5, since I think we last saw these kids. So they've been holed up in this house, drinking blood off of random people, homeless people. And Alex tells them, look, come back to the hotel with me, all of you. I think we can help you. I think we can cure you. And Max and the other kids who kind of start acting a little bit Lord of the Flies, kind of Children of the Cornish. It's very scary to see those two little kids, Max and this other little kid, little boy, interact together about how they just don't care about anybody else. All these kids have killed their parents. So that's why nobody has reported that they're little vampires. All their parents are dead. And for some reason, I guess nobody has discovered that their parents are dead. Odd. But I guess it has happened. So it comes to a point where all the kids almost want to turn against Alex. And they start looking at her like they're about to kill her. And it's a very creepy, crazy scene. It was very good. Even myself, I was like, oh no, Alex, take hold of yourself, girl. Use your vampire skills. And if you have none, you're screwed. Anyway, so they almost kill Alex, but they don't. Max convinces them not to, and the kids leave because Alex has brought up the obvious fact that the pizza delivery boy is going to be noticed that he's been missing from his last delivery. They're going to know the address he went to, and the cops are going to show up. So all the kids leave, and Alex is kind of left there by herself, and that's how that ends with this episode. Now, about Iris, I love this too. When we come back from the first commercial break, Iris has checked in some pornographers. The guy's name is Storm Cock. I mean, really, what kind of a porno name is that? If you're going to have a porno name, have a good one. But they check in, and Iris herself has a great inner monologue. I mean, I guess this is a great episode where the writer, Brad Falchuk, decided he just wanted to give you a good insight into the mind of the Countess and Iris. Even the tone that Iris used during her monologue about how now she's Dirty Harriet. I mean, it was it was fantastic. I thought it was one of Kathy Bates' great episodes so far in this one, is how she's now turned. How she said that basically she told Liz one time how she had to die to live, and now she's living. And she kind of sees herself as a person who other mothers should be proud of. So it's really great. And then Donovan comes by because Iris has killed the pornographers, and she's, I guess, cleaning it up or drinking it up. I don't exactly remember. But Donovan tells her how proud he is of her. And they have a little mother-son moment. And then it goes to Donovan going back to Ramona to convince her to kill the Countess that night. She's going to be married, I guess, the next day, and that they have to act then. So he tells her that he slipped the Countess a little drink so she'll go to sleep, they can sneak in that night, and they can kill her. So Ramona, at that point, gives a little bit of more of her backstory. In 1992, she goes back to see her parents, and this is after she has been turned and after her lover was killed by the Countess. And she talks about how she goes back to see her parents. Her mother dies, and then her father was in the early stages of Alzheimer's when a home invasion goes wrong in their house, and her father is injured. He doesn't die, but Ramona gives him her blood. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't heal his body. I mean, it heals his physical body, but not his mentalness. And unfortunately, he stays in the early stages of Alzheimer's. So ultimately, Ramona has to kill him. And it's very sad. It's a great little backstory, too, of Ramona. So if you guys haven't watched it, and if you're only going on my review, I highly recommend that you go back and watch this episode. There were so many fantastic scenes in it that it was spectacular. So then finally comes the time. She's done with her backstory. They're going to kill the Countess. But Donovan turns against Ramona and betrays her. He whacks her over the head because the Countess wakes up right as soon as Ramona goes to kill her, which is awesome. I kind of thought maybe that was happening when the Countess was requesting for the construction crew to give her a door over the place that Valentino and Natasha were encased in. And I wondered, well, who's she going to put there? She can't put James there. I mean, who else would she put there other than possibly Will? But she had already indicated she was going to kill him. So who would she put there? And it made me think maybe Ramona, because Donovan's having, is back with her. Maybe this is a plan, but I really didn't think that he was going to double-cross Ramona. And then it happened, and I was like, oh my God, it actually did happen. I had hoped he wouldn't. But he did. So they take Ramona and they put her in a case and stick her in the sealed off place. Now, Ramona is basically now a prisoner of the Countess, which I thought was a cool little twist right there. But the Countess basically says that her ultimate goal is to get Valentino back and then turn the hotel into a fortress against the modern world. And she invites Natasha over to her house to kill her because I guess Natasha isn't going to necessarily give Valentino up to the Countess. So she basically tells Valentino, look, I'll just kill her and just get her out of the way. It's no big deal. And I've been wondering where the heck has Natasha been while they've been hiding out. But they explain that the Countess gave Natasha her credit card. She went on a nice little spending spree. And I apologize. These are my little notes right here. It's been kind of flapping in front of the page. So if it's a little freaky, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure I covered certain things. One little thing I wanted to say real quick. Miss Evers goes to Will Drake and she tells him not to marry the Countess because the Countess is going to kill him. He doesn't believe her. And she reveals to him that she was in love with James March, and he chose the Countess over Miss Evers. And I thought her character was awesome when she tells Will that the Countess will kill him, and she's going to be standing over his body laughing at him at the end because he didn't listen to her, which is ultimately what happens. Ramona uses Will. Well, I guess I should say first that James, right after the Countess and Will Drake are married, Will goes to the bar to have a drink. James March goes there, and he tells Will about the Countess's baby and takes her to room 33 to show him. And Will is flabbergasted by the sight of this little child that he comments to the Countess that it's a monster. And she does not like that. So she knocks him out and puts him behind that little wall where Valentino and Natasha were killed, and she puts him in there with Ramona. Ramona convinces him to let her out of her little guard cage that she's standing in, similar to one that the foreign girls were standing in when their blood were drained. She convinces him to let her out, and he does. And they realize they're sealed in there, so she tells him, well, I'm not going to starve. And she cuts his throat and feeds on him. Now, the previews for next week show that he's possibly alive, so I don't know if Ramona's going to try to bring him back with her blood so she can have somebody to get vengeance against the Countess. It's possible. I will talk more about that in predictions, so I don't want to spoil too much. But I really think everything was great, because when Ramona was feeding off of Will Drake, Miss Evers was watching that, as I said before, she was watching that, and he was asking her for help, and she just smiled and laughed at him because he didn't listen to her. But the Countess was also watching them on her closed-circuit monitor, and that's how the show ends, basically, with the Countess watching Ramona kind of inhale Will Drake. Now, she does get married to him right at the end of this episode, and our one-liner award this week, again, goes to Miss Liz Taylor. She says, and I quote, when the priest or the justice of the peace asks anybody there, if anybody would like to speak up now or forever hold their peace of why they should not get married, do it. And Liz raises her hand and says, yeah, she's a bitch. That was hilarious. That was just great writing. The Countess replies with something like, ignore her, she drinks, but the law requires a witness, or something like that. That was a great little retort, and that one almost won the one-liner award. But I thought, again, Liz Taylor took the award on this one for her one-liner. I thought it was fantastic. And, Liz Taylor Butterfly 8, her real name. But again, guys, awesome episode. I think it was fantastic. Can't wait to see next week's episode. Everything is coming into full circle, so I will have more videos out in regards to my theories on the Countess, predictions, and what's going to happen, and of course, more reviews. If you have any questions, send them to me. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe or go check me out at my videos to see what I've already put up. Thank you again for watching my review of American Horror Story Episode 9. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see your comments. Thank you.